Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to the 2015-16 Penn State Altoona Intercollegiate Athletics Recognition Ceremony. Tonight we honor the achievements of our varsity sports teams along with various individuals who have excelled both athletically and academically over the past year. As athletic director, it is a privilege to join you in celebrating your accomplishments. I know that my staff and our distinguished guests are equally proud of your hard work and dedication. Let me just say, too, that I would like to recognize our coaching staff and our department staff. If you could please stand for a second. Hello, guys. I know you're all out there. This past year has been a challenging year with some staff turnover, and I just want to personally thank each and every one of those staff members. As always, when in need, we all pulled together and got it done. And I just want to personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank every one of our staff members that got us through this past academic year. So thank you. It's now with great pleasure that I introduce to you Dr. Lori Bechtel-Wary, our Chancellor and Dean at Penn State Altoona.
Thank you, Brent. I'd just like to say congratulations to everyone and echo Brent in thanking our coaches, all the staff members, our bus drivers and assistant coaches. It takes a whole group of people to support intercollegiate athletics, and so I really am thankful to all of you, and Brent, most especially to you for your leadership and your full-time now in the post, and you're doing a great job, so thank you very much. Many of you know that I was a student athlete myself in college and throughout life, and I still am an athlete and very competitive, although mostly I play ping pong now, but I do enjoy tennis and other sports as well. But I want to thank our student athletes, because I know and I emphasize student athletes. Division III athletics has a focus in that order, student and athletes. But I do know that it takes a lot of time and effort and organization to deal with your academics, as well as strive to be the best athlete you can be and to help your team win. But at the same time, keeping your GPA up. So, and I know many of you also work part-time jobs. So thank you for your dedication and for all you've done to represent Penn State Altoona so very well in the AMCC conference, but also in other places where you traveled. I want to give a special shout out right now to the women's softball team. Joe, congratulations on your inaugural year as assistant coach. I think I saw you in the back there when I came in. And assistant coaches Jeff and Rachel. The women's softball team made it to the AMCC conference tournament. Their first game will be at Duville next Friday, so we wish you all the best. Let's hear it for them. Some other superlatives, quickly. AMCC men's cross country individual champion and runner of the year, Bradley Faust, so congratulations to him. And we had a total of 51 Player of the Week awards from the AMCC, the AVCA, the ECAC, and the NEAC. And I think that might be a record for us. And so that is really great. Congratulations. And sure. We also had 13 of the Player of the Week awards, or 13 of the total Player of the Week awards went to Matt Huey from the men's volleyball team. Yeah. Matt, that's really an incredible accomplishment. But not only that, Matt received Penn State Altoona's first ever AVCA, American Volleyball Coaches Association, Division III National Player of the Week. So congratulations on that too, Matt. I mentioned the importance of student athlete, and student comes first. We had 8 student athletes with a 4.0 GPA during their seasons of competition. That's remarkable. Congratulations to you. And 55 of our student athletes had a 3.5 or higher cumulative GPA, and I think that's a record for us too, so that's wonderful. Men's volleyball and women's bowling posted their best seasons ever. And in closing, I'll just say we have a lot to look forward to with the renovation and addition to the Adler Athletic Complex. And I want to thank all of the students here, because just over $7 million of that $24.2 million project is coming from your facilities fee, student facilities fee. SGA leaders who sit on the Student Facility Fee Committee years ago decided to dedicate a portion of those funds and bank them over the years so that the complex could come to fruition. I can tell you that previous athletic director and I worked for 20 years to finally get this project funded. I'm really proud of our students, because if you think about that, that's almost a third of the total funding for that project is being paid by the students through your facilities fee. But what's more remarkable is being paid over these past many years and the years to come by students who will never benefit from actually being here to use the facilities. So on behalf of all of us at Penn State Altoona, thank you for investing your student facilities fee into that wonderful project that will help support Division III athletics here at Penn State Altoona. So congratulations and have a fun night. Let's go, Brent.
All the expensive tickets must not have sold. You guys are back in the cheap seats. We would like to recognize the members of our Student Athlete Advisory Council. SAC plays a vital role in providing feedback to the administration on all sorts of issues pertaining to student athletes. They coordinate community involvement during the academic year through various service events. All SAC members, please stand. If you earned AMCC Academic All-Conference Honors, would you also please stand? If you don't know about that, then it's the AAC in your program next to your name. So please stand.
And if you just stand, we won't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Can't see anyone anywhere. The AMCC recognizes student athletes that have earned peak performer status by carrying a minimum 3.4 cumulative GPA. As your name is called, please stand and be recognized, and please remain standing until all names are read. Eric Alesius, men's soccer. Brittany Boslett, women's basketball. Eric Brott, men's tennis. Morgan Broombaugh, softball. Carissa Bazella, women's volleyball. Michael Kerrigan, men's soccer. Denise Chen, women's volleyball. Bradley Kolditz, men's volleyball. Alexis Franks, women's basketball and women's cross country. Jonathan Fidal, men's soccer. Jonathan Ganley, men's cross country. Kimberly Gaskill, women's soccer. Robert Gentilucci, men's soccer. Eva Gerhardt, women's swimming. Maria Gibson, women's swimming. Liam Grady, men's soccer. Zach Graham, men's volleyball. Matt Guyan, men's swimming. Amanda Hammer, women's volleyball. Kevin Hart, men's soccer. Brooklyn Hoff, women's soccer. Matt Hibbs, men's soccer. Emily Hollingsworth, women's tennis. Erin Kolke, softball. Clarissa Keller, softball. Nicole Kaiser, women's volleyball. Jenna Kravansky, women's volleyball. Molly Malone, women's soccer. Mike Marley, baseball. Brianne McFarland, women's volleyball. Caroline Menges, women's soccer. Christy Moore, women's soccer. Sean Moore, men's soccer. Luke Nelson, men's soccer. Lauren O'Donnell, softball. Adam Osborne, golf. Michaela Pierce, women's bowling and women's cross country. Bryce Siebert, baseball. Jim Schomburg, baseball. William Smith, men's volleyball. Libby Strayer, women's soccer. Ashley Struble, softball. Michelle Thompson, women's soccer. Anthony Valalunga, golf. Nicole Watt, women's bowling and softball. Cassidy Wyatt, women's cross country. Megan Wheeler, women's basketball. Allie Wilson, women's soccer. Jared Wood, golf. And Shannon Zimmerman, women's basketball and women's soccer. Let's give you guys all a hand. Several student athletes this year have also been selected for induction into Chi Alpha Sigma, the National College Student Athlete Honor Society. To gain membership, this person must be a junior or senior of academic standing, carry a minimum 3.4 cumulative GPA, and have lettered in a varsity sport at least 1 year. Inductees must also be of good moral character and be recommended for induction by the athletic department. Our newest Chi Alpha Sigma inductees for the 2015-2016 year are Mike Marley, baseball, and please come up to the stage as well. Mike Marley, baseball. Brittany Boslett, women's basketball. Shannon Zimmerman, women's basketball and women's soccer. Matt Dillon, golf. Jared Wood, golf. Robert Gentilucci, men's soccer. Libby Strayer, women's soccer. Maria Gibson, women's swimming. Denise Chen, women's volleyball. Michaela Pierce, women's cross country and bowling. Quinn Lohr, men's basketball. And Emily Baker, women's volleyball. Struggling.
Everybody up. Okay. Mike gets one of these too, right?
Thank you.
There we go. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go. You want to get that one?
I'll get the hang of this for the last one.
Shannon. We're going to give you more and more swag.
Congratulations. Thank you.
You got a little out of order. Thank you. Sir? Thank you.
Jared, congratulations. Was that you in the video?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Over there.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Maria. Maria.
God, I just want to get you in on this. No one else is shaking their head.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you okay to get
Yeah,
down
I'm
there?
working. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a big round of applause for all the Chi Alpha Sigma inductees. Next is the Ferdina M. Ingold Academic Excellence Award. This award recognizes student athletes who earned a 4.0 semester GPA during their traditional season of competition. This award is sponsored by the Ferdina M. Ingold Enhancement Endowment. This year's recipients of the Academic Excellence Award are Erin Kalke, softball, Lauren O'Donnell, softball, Emily Hollingsworth, women's tennis, Emily Baker, women's volleyball, Michaela Pierce, women's cross country, Jasmine Thomas, women's bowling, Mike Marley, baseball, and Sean Moore, men's soccer. And please come up to the stage.
We just get
There's only 8 of
shake
these.
this
Yeah,
time.
you're just shaking.
You're just shaking.
Good.
Emily.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Hey, there's some double dipping going on.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. Wait, I get to shake your hand.
Thank you.
Everybody's here, so you can
Okay.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I'll get 4 points.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Let's have a round of applause for all the Ingold Award recipients. At the end of each season, coaches of the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference vote on all conference teams, which are made up of student athletes with standout athletic achievement and sportsmanship. If you were selected as an all-conference player on the first, second, third, or honorable mention teams, or named to the all-conference sportsmanship team during the 2015-2016 year, please stand and be recognized. It's now time for our team-by-team recognition awards. The Sportsmanship Award recognizes the student athlete who has shown through their actions and attitude the best qualities of sportsmanship. The Most Valuable Athlete Award is to honor the student athlete who's made the biggest impact on the success of his or her team. Participation awards will also be given to student athletes who competed on a Penn State Altoona team for 3 or 4 years. First, we'd like to welcome up head softball coach Joe Morelli.
Wait. Oh, that's great. Wow. And they were worried I didn't have anything prepared. First of all, I'm just glad I don't have to speak after Doug West because I know what a great speaker he is. So I'll get this out of the way. I have to tell you, I've thoroughly enjoyed my first year with this outstanding group of coaches and student athletes. When I first talked to Brent in July, I can remember him telling me how much talent the softball team had lost from the previous year and how this year we were just going to consider year 0. Dude, this was a great year 0. Yeah, you did. The first decision I had to make. Yeah. The first decision I had to make was who were going to be my assistant coaches, and I think I made 2 excellent decisions. One, bringing Jeff McNeilis back as an assistant coach, and hiring Rachel DeArmond from last year's team as being an assistant coach. So give them. Your softball team this year finished the regular season yesterday with a 25-9 record and 15-3 in the Allegheny Mountains Conference, a share of the regular season title. Both records were among the very best ever at this school. 15-3 ties the 2012 season for the best record ever in the Allegheny Mountains Conference, and 25-9 is the second best record in school history to that same 2012 team. Ladies, what a great job you did this year. Nobody expected you to be where you are today, so let's just continue to surprise everybody next week up in Buffalo, huh? We had a number of players step up this year to help the team be successful. We had so many contributors, I'd be here all night telling you about them, but just a couple. Ashley Struble. When we needed somebody to take some innings in the circle to give Kate a rest, boy, did Ashley come through. She pitched unbelievably well. And she told me she really hasn't pitched a whole lot since like 7th or 8th grade in high school, or junior high. Lauren O'Donnell, we called her late inning low. with her late inning heroics. And the defensive plays by Shannon Moore, Danny Leibowitz, and Kelsey Bristol in the outfield and at third base. The positive attitudes that this team had was incredible. And I'll tell you, there were more Sports Center plays made by our shortstop, Haley Giedrock, than I think I've ever seen. We had solid defense and clutch hitting from Allie Simpson, and Mackenzie Strubhar, who really hadn't had a chance to hit at the collegiate level a whole lot, came in and we let her hit this year, and she hit .342, among others. 3 players come to mind. I have, the first is our award for sportsmanship, and this player represents everything positive about a student athlete. She keeps this team loose and makes the team better just by being there. When I saw drumsticks, and I mean real drumsticks in the dugout, and she's banging them on one of the wood, whatever those are called in the dugout, that was a new one for me. She's the first to be cheering on and getting everyone going when things look bad. So much so, last week she lost her voice. Thankfully, we have her on our team, and our sportsmanship award goes to Morgan Broombaugh. Come on up, Morgan. Next, there's 2 players I want to talk about, and I don't know how you put the term MVP on just one person on this team, because I could not. Let me tell you about 2 incredible young ladies. First, Kate Burge. Kate has worked so hard to become the premier pitcher in our conference. Once you get to know Kate, you get to know what an outstanding and funny young lady she is. At one time at practice, I forget what we were doing, but I said to her, Kate, you're going to give me a stroke. And she said, that's okay, Coach. I'm in nursing. I'll be able to take care of you. Kate has set multiple records this year. She set the single season record in wins, innings pitched, games started, strikeouts, and shutouts. And we're not even done yet with the season. In addition, Kate has not been given a chance to hit offensively over the last couple years. She told me, Coach, I'm a pretty good hitter. So I watched her in practice, and yes, she's a really good hitter. So much so that we put her in a cleanup spot for most of the season. She hit .304, and she has 3 home runs and 20 RBIs this year so far. The other one I want to talk about is our field general, Clarissa Keller. Words can't fully express what Keller has meant to our team. She's like a coach on the field. For years of coaching this game, I have called every pitch into the catcher for as long as I've been coaching. When I saw how she plays and how she thinks, I gave that responsibility to her back in the fall. And I made that decision knowing that she would call a game just like I would. Several times I've turned to Jeff in the dugout and said, hey, I think she should call this, and lo and behold, there it was. So Kel has led the league most of the season, wire to wire, with hitting. She's currently hitting .486 and has a chance to be near at the top of several team records when all is said and done. I texted Clarissa the other day before our big games this weekend and said, hey, you know, there's some videos out there on some of the sites that we can watch and see what Barron has been doing. She said, Coach, I already got it covered. I've already been watching them. I would put our pitcher and catcher combination up against any in Division III softball. They are that good. In this case, we can only give one MVP. I had the team vote for MVP, and as I suspected, it was only one vote apart. And we have 15 players, so it had to be. So for softball, the MVP is Clarissa Keller.
We also have some participation awards for softball. 3-year participation award winners, and please come up to the stage. Allie Simpson, Kate Burge, Mackenzie Strubar. And our 4-year participation award is Clarissa Keller.
Congratulations. Thanks, Joe. Nice job.
Cross country women.
It's crazy. Recruiting hours on.
Next, we have women's cross country. Matt and Heidi Manfred couldn't be here tonight for the women's and men's cross country teams, but they did pass along a couple things that they wanted me to say for the awards. The women's cross country sportsmanship award winner is Rachel Lobsher. Matt and Heidi had this to say about Rachel. On a team full of great sportswomen, Rachel stands out. She spent this season dealing with a very painful injury that after many years was worsening. While training and competing, she was diagnosed with compartment syndrome in her lower legs. On any other team, she would have been taken off the entire season. Any other athlete would have. But Rachel knew that her team needed her there. They needed her support, encouragement, guidance, and her seemingly endless supply of oddball childhood stories. Last year was the year that Rachel showed the world she was a great runner. This year, she showed that she is a tough woman and a great teammate who can rise above her circumstances and overcome any obstacle. The most valuable player award for women's cross country is Michaela Pierce. After a stellar 2014 season, Michaela was driven this year to achieve even more. She worked very hard and made good decisions throughout the spring, summer, and fall, and they paid off for her on the race course. At Roberts Wesleyan, Michaela broke the school record for 5K by 26 seconds, running 19:32. She also ended her season with the 4th fastest time in team history at our other race distance, 6K. At the AMCC Championships, Michaela placed 3rd as an individual, this year beating the 2 women who had finished ahead of her last year. 2 third places at the AMCC race represent the best 2 finishes by any Penn State Altoona runner, man or woman, in the 14-year history of the program. In 3 years, Michaela has never missed a race, and her 5K school record is a full 2 minutes faster than her best time 2 years ago as a freshman, an accomplishment that represents her dedication and fierce determination. Also receiving a participation award for 3-year participant is Michaela Pierce. Next is men's cross country. Sportsmanship award winner, Jim Orr. Matt and Heidi had this to say about Jim. Jim was the team's athletic and moral backbone this year. Jim has had more than his share of bumps and bruises in the past 3 years, but in 3 years, he has only ever missed 1 race because of an injury. Even with unfortunate injuries, Jim was a model of patience and diligence. As a senior on a small team where only 1 teammate was not a rookie, Jim was a constant example of how to show up every day and do what needs to be done. Next is the most valuable player, and that is Brad Faust. Brad entered this year as a freshman with some high goals and expectations. He finished the season as the second fastest runner in team history and as the AMCC individual champion. His accomplishments this season include running under 27 minutes 4 times, a feat never accomplished by a Penn State Altoona runner before. He was twice named ECAC South Rookie of the Week, twice named AMCC Runner of the Week, won the AMCC Championship race, and was AMCC Runner of the Year. For the participation awards, the 3-year participant is Jim Orr. And we'd also like to recognize Brad Faust for his AMCC Runner of the Year. Oh, wow. Next, we have women's soccer head coach Pam Snyder-Edders.
Don't go into labor on stage.
3 days, really? I'm due on Wednesday. Good luck. Thanks. Good evening, everyone. I do want to take a moment to thank everyone here on stage, Dr. Bechter-Wary, Dr. Brunston, and particularly all the full-time athletic staff. Those of us who are only part-timers really rely a lot on you to take care of the athletes on a regular basis because we're not here. And I really appreciate you guys being there for them whenever they need someone immediately, and we can't always be there. I do appreciate the bus drivers as well. Getting us to and from safely is really important, especially this year. So I'm really thankful for all the work that you guys do. I actually want to talk about 3 athletes as well. I know there's only 2 awards, but before I give the Sportsmanship and MVP award, I do want to make a special mention. This year we have 1 senior on our team. And many of you coaches know, and I know the athletics department understands because of the 3- and 4-year awards that they hand out, how important it is to have players stick around here at Penn State Altoona and how much of a difference that can make in the success of a program. Mackenzie Strubar is our senior this year, and despite all of her classmates leaving the program and moving on to University Park, she stuck it out. And I know there can be a lot of peer pressure involved when a lot of your friends are leaving, and she really committed herself to the program and to helping us drive future success. Before she got here, we had several successful years from 2008 through 2011, and I can tell you that when we were having that success, I believe we had 9 seniors in 1 year, which made the difference for our program. When she first started here, we struggled quite a bit, and it was really rewarding this season to field a team in front of her that really cared about the success of the program in the future, and we were able to make the semifinal for the first time since she has been here. She's leaving us in the top 10 of many categories in the all-time, including goals against average, most wins, most ties, shutouts, games played, games started, save percentage, saves per game, and she holds the current record of overall saves in a career with 364, which is 140 more saves than the second person. So it's really impressive. And I'm just really thankful for all that you've done for our program, Mackenzie, and we will miss you greatly. On to the awards. For our Sportsmanship Award this year, we have Allie Wilson. Allie is a sophomore in our program, and I can tell you when she first came here, she was extremely shy, very quiet, and we had to whip her into shape in the back line because we needed somebody with a big mouth. And lucky for us, she figured that out, and she became a real strong defender for us in the back. It's often easy to overlook the contributions of a defender on a soccer field because many times the goalkeeper actually gets most of the recognition for the defensive success of a team. And I can tell you that Allie's speed, her grit, her will to just shut down some of the best players in our conference is what allowed us to be successful this year. In the quarterfinal, we faced a very, very talented freshman at Pitt Greensburg, and I think she scored. She did eventually score in that game, but she scored a ton of goals and was the newcomer of the year, and Allie just did a phenomenal job of closing her down alongside of Libby. And it's been really a pleasure having her, not just because of her success on the field, but because she has exuded the real attitude of a champion in life and off the field, and we appreciate the quality of character that you've represented for both our team and for the school and the program. I know that she's very highly respected amongst her peers, amongst the coaching staff, and it has been a real pleasure having her the last 2 years, and we're sad to say that she's one of the ones that has to go to University Park next year. Okay, so the next award is for MVP, and this is one that I typically struggle with, particularly because with our team, it truly is a team effort. We have a pretty well-balanced set of individuals with a lot of skill. And so what I've tried to do throughout the year is talk to opposing teams' coaches, and I really rely on them for their input. They've all responded to me with a lot of valuable input on who they felt was the most difficult player to play against. In this case, for this season, it's Shoshana Mahoney. Shoshana has been here for just 2 seasons, and she is already in the top 5 all-time in shots on goal, shots per game, game-winning goals, shots attempted, and shots on goal. She was a Player of the Week on November 2nd, and she was 3rd team All-AMCC this season. We also have a spring tournament, and the Lock Haven men's coach was in attendance helping the women's team there, and he had a lot of really great things to say about Sho, and it just kind of reaffirmed that the decision we made was the correct one. And like I said, it's difficult to make because we have so many talented players, but I look forward to the next 2 years to see what Sho can do for us and where she'll and where she's going to take the team in our successes.
And we have a couple participation awards for women's soccer as well. 3-year participant Libby Strayer. And 4-year participant Mackenzie Strubar. Next we have men's soccer. Head coach Mo Taylor couldn't be here tonight, but he had a couple things that he wanted me to mention about how the Lions season went this year. Men's soccer team won 6 out of their first 7 games, gave up just 2 goals in the span of 450 minutes at one point during the season. They beat Medaille for the first time to advance to the AMCC semifinals. They handed Mount Aloysius its only conference loss of the season. 2 Defensive Player of the Week awards for Jonathan Fidal, goalkeeper, also had 5 shutouts during the season. Jordan Christ and Eric Alicius were voted to the All-Conference team, and the team's 13 wins were their most since 2009. All those accomplishments were done with a 26-man roster that included only 11 returners from the previous season. Mo wanted me to say this in particular. One of, if not the hardest working groups of players that truly love and respect their teammates. The game called soccer at Penn State Altoona in 2015 was played with passion and commitment. It was so much fun for me and our fans, and I just want to say thank you. Sportsmanship Award winner for men's soccer, Eric Alesius. And the most valuable player was Matt Hibbs. Three-year participation awards for men's soccer, Christopher Learn and Robert Gentilucci. Next, we have men's golf, and I'd like to welcome up head coach Tom Cayley.
Thanks for getting me in early. Matt Dillon has to run. He's a participant, so good job. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is always an exciting evening to recap our season and award a couple worthy players. We finished second in the conference this year with only 3 returners. Was quite impressive. Barron every year seems to out-experience us, and hopefully we can catch up with them next year. Really proud of this team. These guys really, truly become a team in a very quick span. Opening weekend of classes, they come together. Within a week, we're playing, and within 6 weeks, we're done. So our season comes and goes pretty fast. But these guys do a great job of bonding both on the golf course and off the golf course, and truly representing what a team is all about, building lifelong friendships. And I see that in our alums with the golf team. The connections they maintain over the years, and I have no doubt that this team will continue to do that. On to our award winners. Our Sportsmanship Award winner is Eric Oakley. Eric's a 2-year participant, member of the Collegiate Review staff, and my fill-in when I couldn't make basketball games on the air. Eric has a lot of pride in Penn State Altoona athletics and his time on the golf team. It's a shame we're losing him, because when you think of sportsmanship, I think of the player that is the guy that's shooting the text to everybody, hey, let's get to practice early, hey, let's go play 9 real quick before practice starts. One of the few guys that actually enjoys practicing at 7 in the morning. So Eric, congratulations on the Sportsmanship Award, and your efforts and value to the team will be sorely missed as you move on to complete your academic career at University Park. Like many coaches, I struggle. It seems like every year to choose a most valuable player. Golf, it's kind of immeasurable, because from tournament to tournament, basketball you can score 20 points no matter what gym you're playing in, but golf, the score depends on the difficulty of the golf course, and do you have a good day, do you have a bad day? We have several players that could have been most valuable. In years past, that hasn't necessarily gone to the quote-unquote best player or the lowest scoring average. I've given it to the player that maybe had the most impact from the 3 spot or 4 spot. But this year, the decision on the most valuable player is Jared Wood. Jared's path to Penn State Altoona is a little bit of a mixed one. Before I stepped away from coaching for a couple of years, Jared was a recruit of mine. I've known Jared a long time, just from being around junior golf in the area. Jared went to Bethel College in Indiana, an NAIA school, competed there, and many of you may know his mother Cynthia, who's one of our outstanding business professors. But Jared's ties to Penn State Altoona and the local community brought him back. Jared's done a great job over the years off the golf course, connecting with our alums and the folks involved in the Enactus program. But our decision this year to name him our MVP was quite easy. He is after 10 events this year, is 5th all-time in scoring average at Penn State Altoona, bypassing some greats like R.J. Silly and Quentin Zabo and a guy named Tom Cayley. So, you know, if you can beat me in scoring average, you got to be the MVP of the team, right? But Jared's accomplishments are well-deserved, and both on and off the golf course. We look forward to him and Matt Dillon, another first-team All-Conference, and Adam Osborne, a second-team All-Conference, returning next year. We return our top 3, and we're really excited for next season and what it may hold, and hopefully a trip to Mission Hills in Florida for NCAA's next spring, this time next year. So, Jared, congratulations.
And we also have a 3-year participation award for men's golf. That's Matt Dillon.
Thanks, everybody. Nice job.
Next, I'd like to welcome up head coach of women's tennis, Doug Simmons.
Okay, first of all, I want to start off by thanking everyone here, Dr. Bechtel-Weary, Dr. Brunston, Brent, Connor, Trainer Jess, John Carey, Debbie, Tiffany, the entire busing staff, anyone else that might be leaving out for their continued support. I really appreciate everything you guys do for athletics, and you make my job a lot easier. For the women's season, we had to make a lot of changes as we welcomed 4 new players into our starting rotation after losing some key contributors from last year. Led to some challenges, but in my opinion, the team stepped up. They rose to the occasion. We finished the season in 4th place in our conference with a 4-4 conference record and a 7-8 overall record. We won our first round of the AMCC tournament, and once again we made it to the Final 4 of the AMCC championships. Our team showed a lot of heart in every match, and as always, they were a joy to coach. We have a whole new team coming in next year, but luckily for me, I do still have my number 1 coming back next year to lead us into the future. For the Sportsmanship Award, this award goes to a player that I've had the privilege of coaching for the past 3 years. During this time, she's really grown as a player and as a teammate. She always had a positive outlook for the team, and she would post photos on Instagram and Snapchats to get the group excited. In addition, she did everything in her power to root on her teammates. Even though she'd sometimes get frustrated with me on the court, she always did everything I asked of her and more. I am proud to say she is graduating from Penn State Altoona this semester, but I'm really sad to see her go. The Sportsmanship Award is for Olivia Brown. The MVP award, for the 2 seasons I've had this player, she's performed at the top level of the conference. This year she went an incredible 11-2 in singles and 4-6 in doubles. She was also voted 2nd team All-AMCC status for her work at number 2 singles. I'm also going to miss her next year as she is moving on to University Park. The MVP award goes to Regina Sanchez.
We also have 3-year participation awards for women's tennis, Olivia Brown and Michelle Colucci.
And for the men's team. So the men's team lost our top 4 returning players, which this made the season difficult to say the least, but we finished the season 3-7 overall, 2-4 record in conference, although a couple of those matches we had players at interviews, so they could have gone other ways. During each match, our team competed. They showed a lot of heart. They never gave up. And a lot of those matches were very, very close. For the MVP award, I felt that the MVP award belonged to someone who was willing to do whatever was asked of them and was still able to perform up to a high level. This player moved from playing number 3 doubles all of last season all the way up to number 1. He posted a 3-5 singles record, but he also had one of the most impressive double victories that he secured against Geneva with his partner Connor Salzer. He was in every match and never looked like he didn't belong, even playing against the number 1 players from all the best teams in the conference. My MVP award goes to Alex Albright. For our sportsmanship award, I've really enjoyed coaching this player for the past 4 seasons. My assistant and I often joked that he was our 3rd coach over the years, as he was and is always willing to help out with other players. This year he moved into a full-time playing position and performed well. He still rooted on his teammates and inspired the team as usual, but he also played with respect and class on the court in both doubles and singles. The sportsmanship award goes to Tony Vergari.
We also have participation awards for men's tennis. 3-year participant Alex Albright, and 4 years Eric Brott and Tony Vergari. Next, I'd like to call up women's volleyball head coach Phil Peterman.
Good evening. I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Bechtel-Weary and Brent Beard for giving me the opportunity to coach here, all our full-time athletic staff for making my job much easier, and also my assistant coach, Valerie Broombaugh. I also can't forget Paul and Terry, who sometimes are a very valuable assistant coach as well as awesome bus drivers as well. This past season, both of my volleyball teams had similar results. My women's team was 14-13, 7-2 in the conference, and co-regular season champions. My men's team was 17-11 and 12-4 in the conference. Both of these teams lost in the semifinals of their conference tournaments, and they ended up in 2nd place in the AMCC in both of the regular seasons. So my first award of the evening is the Sportsmanship Award. This award goes to a girl who stepped into the role of starting setter and led our offense. She helped distribute the ball to all of our weapons throughout the season. In doing so, 3 of our girls also made all-conference teams because of her. She helped guide our team to a .173 hitting percentage and averaged 8 assists per set. My sportsmanship award goes to Jenna Kravansky. My next award is my Most Valuable Player Award. This young lady was one of 2 players to appear in 96 sets this past season. She was named a first-team All-Conference AMCC squad. She led the AMCC in hitting percentages while ranking 2nd solo blocks, 3rd in points, 4th in points per set and kills, 5th in kills per set, and 7th in total blocks and blocks per set. During the season, she picked up the AMCC Player of the Week award, as well as the ECAC South Region Player of the Week honor. This award goes to Tori Shingler. For my men's team, the first award is the Sportsmanship Award. This award goes to a guy who came to practice every day and strived to get better each and every day. During the start of the preseason, he might have been my 3rd best setter on campus. But by the start of the first game, he earned a starting role and led our offense to new heights this past season. During his first year of collegiate volleyball, he finished the season ranked 21st amongst all NCAA Division III players in assists. In the AMCC, he ranked 1st in both assists per set and total assists. He earned the ECAC South Region Rookie of the Week award and was voted 2nd team All NEAC squad. This year's my sportsmanship award goes to Billy Smith. My final award of the evening is my Most Valuable Player Award. This award goes to a guy who won just about every award imaginable this past season. He was voted AMCC Conference Player of the Year, NEAC Conference Player of the Year. He was named Division III National Player of the Week by the American Volleyball Coaches Association, which was his top honor. He also was selected as AMC Player of the Week 5 times, ECAC Player of the Week 3 times, and NEAC Player of the Week 4 times. He was also voted to the All ECAC second team. Among all NCAA Division III men's volleyball players, he ranks 5th in both kills per set and points per set. I'm very sorry to see this guy go. My award goes to Matt Huey.
And we also have some participation awards for both the women's and the men's volleyball team. 3-year participant for the women's team, Emily Baker. And 4-year participants, Becky Britton and Amanda Hammer. And participation awards for the men's team. 3-year participants, Zach Graham and Jake Byers. And 4-year participant, Brandon Stitt. Did you give Matt his stuff early for a point of view? Here.
The player of the year stuff.
So announce him again? Oh, for, okay.
Good job, Jacob. Thank you.
paperback. Next is women's bowling. Head coach Ashley Heeman couldn't be here tonight, but a couple highlights about the women's bowling team season. They had their best record in program history this past season, including going 17-7 in the AMCC. They finished as AMCC runners-up in the conference championships, and Rebecca Amendola and Alyssa Piffer were both voted to the AMCC All-Conference team. Sportsmanship Award winner for women's bowling is Jasmine Thomas. And the most valuable player for women's bowling goes to Rebecca Amendola. And we have a pair of 3-year participation awards for the women's bowling team. Jasmine Thomas and Bree Shuhanik. Next, I'd like to call up head women's swimming coach Greg Scallon.
Good evening. This happens every year. Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to thank everybody behind me, Chancellor Connor, Doc, Brent, and all my fellow colleagues in the athletic department, and all of you student athletes who've committed your time and energies to your specific sport. So you have women's swimming first. Just a brief outline there. We had a strange season, both with the women's team and the men's team. We had to persevere through a lot of illness. I had all but one swimmer miss at least 2.5 weeks due to bronchitis or some itis that came up and bit them hard. So it was difficult because, you know, they're swimming in an environment where it's very hot and humid, and then going off into central Pennsylvania air at night, and it's a little bit chilly. But they worked very, very hard, and the women's team placed 4th this year at AMCC's. Relatively small squad on both ends, but we had one in particular we need to mention is Allison Wolfenberger was our sole finalist at championships this year in the backstroke and did quite well. And I was just really pleased with how they gelled at the end of the season. Schedules, again, were difficult, so I had several that would swim during the open swim at night. So we kind of had 2 practices going each day. So I appreciate your commitment to the team. It took a special individual to stay and do the work that was required and embrace the culture that's expected within our program. So I have 3 girls that I need to mention, the award winners, and also first and foremost I wanted to recognize Kelsey Lelko. She's my sole senior. I've been here 5 seasons, and she is the first female swimmer to be here for all 4 years. So for her to put up with me for 4 years, that's one heck of a young lady right there. So congratulations, Kelsey. We're going to miss you and wish you well. But the award winners this year, first is going to be our sportsmanship award for our women's team. And this goes to a young lady who has displayed that every day and every practice and every meet setting. And she's kind of tough. And I run a tight ship, and sometimes she has me take a step back too, and it must be her military background, so we get along quite well. But she is a very, very dedicated, hard-working young woman, and she always has a smile on her face and a way to motivate her teammates. So I'm very pleased to introduce Maria Gibson as this year's sportsmanship recipient. She ran the triathlon this morning, so she's a little bit sore. Marathon. Thank you, Maria. And next, the most valuable swimmer goes to a young lady who has been with me for 2 years, and with Coach Baum. I apologize. That's my backbone right there, my assistant coach. I thanked everybody but the most important one in the program. And Coach, thank you for your support of everything that we do, keeping everybody on an even keel and being that positive support when it's needed. I thank you very much, Cindy, for your help. So, most valuable assistant coach of the year goes to you. But the most valuable swimmer is going to go to a young lady who has been with us, as I said, for 2 years. She's moving on to University Park, but she has not missed a day in 2 seasons, if I'm correct with my attendance records. I believe she's the only one that didn't get sick this year. But she's a fierce competitor. She scored the most points overall this season on the women's team. She swam every event that you could possibly think of, even when I knew she was going to hate it. You know, hey, I need you this weekend in a 200 fly. I did a little bit of a expression, but she went ahead and did it, and then she, place in the top 3, if not win it. She'd do her best every time with a smile on her face. Her relentless work ethic was just fantastic. And this year's most valuable swimmer goes to Emily Bergman. Okay, and on to the men's team. Small. We started out, we lost a few, we had a few casualties for whatever reason. We had people that might have started school a little early. There were a couple of issues, but the ones who stayed benefited, and they know that, I know that, Coach Baum knows that, and I'm proud of you. There were only 7 standing at the end of February when we went into our championship meet, but all 4 of those 7 were second team all-conference swimmers. We had a lot of hard work, and you have 2 coming back next year who are going to be the base of a very, very strong class that's coming on both sides. It's going to really add to the numbers, which is going to add to the points scored and continue the successes that we've had here for 5 years, so I'm looking forward to that. But the first award I have is our Sportsmanship Award, and this goes to a young man who has been with us for only 1 season. Unfortunately, we're going to be losing him due to his academic interests are going to take him upstairs to University Park, and yet he was a very, very dedicated, hard-working swimmer, battled a little bit of illness early, but did everything that he was asked to do in practice at meets, and he just displayed what it means to be a dedicated swimmer, and he just responded every time he was challenged without question and gave everything that he had every time that he swam. This year's Sportsmanship Award goes to Matt Guyan. And the last award I have for this evening is the most valuable swimmer. This goes to a young man who fortunately is coming back next year for his 3rd campaign. And he is just one of our captains, and he certainly has earned that title and displayed it with great pride. And he's done a fantastic job for us the last 2 years, and he just gets better. He's a utility swimmer. He came to us as a backstroker. He was recruited as a backstroker. And by the time we got done, I think he was swimming breaststroke, There were meets where he had to swim fly, lots of freestyle. So he was able to be beneficial and helpful to his team in all 4 stroke disciplines, which is not an easy task in our sport. Okay, it's kind of like asking somebody to go play point guard if they're, you know, a center. Sometimes it can be done, but sometimes not. So I was very proud of this most valuable swimmer, and I look forward to him coming back next year, and that's Connor Fanks.
And we have one participation award for the swimming teams. On the women's swimming side, 4-year participant Kelsey Lelko.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a great evening.
Next, we'd like to call up head women's basketball coach Casey Schaup.
Good evening. Thank you for the time to spend with you guys this evening. I'd like to say a couple of thank yous before getting started into the awards portion. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the assistant coaches, John, Janelle, and Lindsay, for their support throughout the year and also putting up with me as I would send them off to do different things or ask them questions and whatnot. But also the athletic department for all of their help. As many of the other part-time coaches had stated, when we're not here, they step in and do a great deal of help. So thank you very much. Also to the bus drivers, Terry and Paul, for getting us to and from safely in the event. So thank you to those. As far as for this season, we walked in with a great deal of talent and a large set of personalities. This year, the group of girls, they're hysterical. We had an unknown comedian of the group, Danielle. Oh my goodness, her stories that she used to share with us and just her daily antics at practice or a game were a lot of fun to either witness or hear, so thank you, Dee. But then also we had our group of girls who some were shy and not outgoing to start, and then as the season progressed, they opened up more and more, and we had our natural leaders that stepped up from the get-go, and we've made a lot of great memories, so thank you, ladies, I appreciate it. As far as for our awards, our Sportsman Award goes to someone who is not always the most outspoken of the group. She's someone who is typically very quiet, and though you don't hear her often, she leads by example, but also if you pay enough attention and you listen closely, she's very encouraging to her teammates. Our Sportsmanship Award goes to Nicole Grip, so thank you. Our next award for MVP goes to someone who has put in a lot of time and effort over the last year and a half. And last year she came in as a transfer student midway through, and this year she started right where she left off. You could oftentimes see her blocking shots, grabbing some serious ferocious rebounds, throwing a few elbows here and there, and putting a basket definitely in through the hoop. One of her best games was against Franciscan at their place, where she had 21 points and 10 rebounds. And I love her dearly, but my goodness, by the end of the game, she looked like a hot mess. She was so sweaty from putting forth such a phenomenal effort. And Megan, I thank you so much for all of your contributions throughout the entire season. Our MVP is Megan Wheeler.
And we have a trio of three-year participation awards for women's basketball. Brittany Boslett, Nicole Grip, Gabrielle Pizzer. Next, I'd like to call up head men's basketball coach Doug West.
Oh, no, that's fine. We'll be good. We'll be good. We'll be good. Well, I see that this is a little short for me, but you know, I can bend over. It's all in good nature here. Quinn and Dee, I think next year's SAC meetings we have to announce that we're going to have an award ceremony, because I saw more people stand up for SAC today than I've seen in the last 5 meetings. So I just wanted to just get that out. It's been on my chest for a little bit. And Greg, you said that we could have a center play point guard. Well, there's no way in the world I would put the ball in Jordan Smith's hands ever. I mean, if you would see him dribble at practice, you would understand. But all jokes aside, first and foremost, I would like to thank our lovely staff that's sitting up here. You know, first and foremost, they gave me an opportunity to come here and to lead these guys that you see up here on this photo, and it's been an exciting journey for me. It was one of the most interesting years ever. You know, coming into this, had no clue about the players, no clue about the conference, and it's the way I wanted it to be. I wanted to just come in, sit back, and see what was going to happen. And you know, to my surprise, they surprised me and they won the first game. So we won the first game against Mount. I was like, wow, man, we're rolling here, man. I was like, this should be good. And then I looked at Coach Floyd. I said, Coach Floyd, we lost the next 8. You know, what gives here? What gives? And you know, but as I've always explained to my players, I want you to play your best basketball. And actually, you all as athletes, we want you to do your best at the end. You know, the season is long, and as the season progressed, we were getting better. And I can remember the Barron game at home, and you know, we had that game, and you know, at the end, you know, we end up losing the game, and the next thing I know is another learning experience for me. We have 3 weeks off before the next game. I have never in my life been a part of a basketball team that we had 3 weeks off. And that was Christmas vacation. And again, another learning experience, because this was a year of learning experiences for me. And then, you know, we come back and, we eventually start playing well. But another learning experience that I had, we have Anton Lucas. This guy had class every time we had practice. I never understood it. Coach, I got class. I got a test. I got this. I got that. You know, but then when you want to take him out of the game, he doesn't want to come out the game. So how do you play a guy who's never at practice, you know, but he always wants to play the game? But again, great job. And a great job by all you guys. I appreciate the effort that you gave. I appreciate your dedication. And I know sometimes, you know, because the first thing they said to me, Coach, when you go up there, make it quick, Coach. Coach, make it quick, make it quick. And I know you guys love my circles after practice, you know. So it's one of those things where I love to talk. I just love to talk, and I love to look them in the eye, and I love to see if they're listening. And you know, they're all trying. You know, I got class, Coach. You know, I got to get away. But again, it was a great learning experience. We had an opportunity at the end to possibly get into the playoffs. And unfortunately, the bus company canceled on us the night before. Casey and I, we had to take a bus up to DUville, and the bus company canceled us. I never had that happen in my life. Again, another learning experience. The bus company calls me as I'm getting into my car, and they say, we're canceling your game tomorrow. And I'm like, well, you can't cancel the game tomorrow. And they said, well, we're not coming to pick you up. You better call the AD. So by the time I get back into the building, Brent's running through the hallways, you know, answering the phone. He's like, the bus company cancels. I'm like, yeah, I know, Brent. I've never heard this in my life. But again, these guys, we took the trip. I made the trip up there. Senior day, of course, and they didn't miss a shot at the beginning. And we made a game of it, but unfortunately, we were unable to pull it off. A few awards that I would like to give out and recognize a few of our players. A sportsmanship award goes to one of our players. We called him Little Wiggy, you know, because he looked so much like Mike Wakefield. I mean, it was his body type, you know, jumper, everything, you know. So, and I can remember this one time, you know, every time you look down the bench, and I'm tight with my bench, you know, I keep my guys in, and, you know, our two guys who were at practice and who gave their all, Marshall and Alex, I looked down the bench, we're playing Lycoming, and I don't know who was there for the Lycoming game, but Lycoming comes in, they bring in brothers. There's nothing but brothers on this team, and they are going up the court 100 miles per hour, and I mean, I'm sitting there on the bench sometimes saying to myself, wow, this guy might be able to play in the league. So I look at Marshall. We're down 25 points. I look at Marshall. I say, Marshall, you want to go in the game? His eyes are like, yes, Coach. Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I'm thinking to myself, Marshall has never seen this many brothers on the court in his life. So we put Marshall in the game, and I mean, Marshall, you know, he scored. He goes in and scores right away. I'm like, I should have put him in the game a long time ago, you know. But our sportsmanship award, it goes to Marshall Higley. Marshall. The next award goes to our most valuable player, and you know, there's a few guys that I could have chosen from, but one of the most important things with me is leadership. And as the season progressed, I had to look at guys and see, you know, okay, first and foremost, forget the basketball part. Are you a leader off the court? And I would come in, you know, and in the days when he wasn't trying to get away by going to the bathroom, this guy, Javon Wilson, would be leading us. And when I say the bathroom, every time we had to do a certain drill, Javon had to go to the bathroom. Hey, Coach, I go to the bathroom. He'd take off. We couldn't find him for the first 10 minutes of practice. But besides that, his leadership on the court, in the bus, just getting his teammates together was so valuable to me and my staff. And again, my staff of Coach Larry Floyd and our two-time coach back there, our baseball coach, and our other assistant, Joe Piatti. Those two were great for me. But back to Javon. Javon was someone who I knew as the season progressed, we were going to have to lean on him just a little bit more. So I took my time with him, and then by the time we got into the second half of the season, I challenged him. And the challenge was in practice. The challenge was at games. The challenge was in his studies. Javon has done a great job with his studies. And he has another challenge from me. He thinks I forgot for this summer, and we'll see if he holds up to his end of it. Javon was AMCC Player of the Week, one time ECAC Player of the Week, and he was third team All AMCC Conference. So our MVP award goes to Javon Wilson.
And we have a couple participation awards as well. 3-year participants: Javon Wilson, Anton Lucas, Quinn Lohr, and Jordan Smith. And 4-year participant, Michael Wigfield. Next, I'd like to call up head baseball coach Joe Piatti.
Same stuff every year, huh? My last? Yeah, my last. Okay, thanks, guys. I want to thank Dr. Lori Bechtel-Weary and Dr. Brunsden for their support, and the complete athletic staff. Throughout the year, behind the scenes, there's a lot involved that you guys don't see that they do, and I just want to thank all of them. I want to thank Paul and Terry, bus drivers, because as most of you know, we didn't have a home field this year, so we kind of lived in the bus all spring. Many trips, we just left everything on the bus and got right back in it the next day and headed out for another game. So it's been an interesting year, not having a home field and a brand new team. The team comes together in the spring, and we have a whole new team this year, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. But it's been real fun, interesting watching them grow throughout the season. We fell short of our goal of winning a championship, and as you know, championships are hard to achieve, and that's what makes it so exciting when you achieve that. So some of you teams are still here, softball, I wish you all the luck in your adventures here getting another championship. I told Coach West during the season, towards the end, said, this team's not going to win a championship this year, but it's your first team. It's going to be a special team. I'm sorry. To me, my first team was real special too. But this is going to be my last year here. I'm going to retire after this. So this is my last team. This is a very special team for me. So I just wanted to share that with you. I've had a great time here, and it's just time for me to move on, and I have other challenges ahead of me. So. I had no plan to come up here and say anything, but to just kind of, just come out. So appreciate your applause. And go on, my team this year, our sportsmanship award goes to a fella who I actually cut in the fall. But I always tell guys at the end, when I cut these guys, if a spot opens up with academics or whatever reason, I'll call you back if I get a chance to. Well, this gentleman was the first guy I called back, and I knew that I would get a chance to probably bring him back. He's a bullpen catcher, only had probably 4 or 5 bats all year long. But this guy got his catching gear on. He's the bullpen catcher. And, when during the game, when your catcher's up the bat, he's got to get his gear on, and you have to have another catcher there and warm up the pitcher. Well, in the past 20 years, you always got to yell at that guy, "Hey, Joe, get your stuff on. Let's get in there." Not this guy. I turn around, he's there waiting. This guy is on the ball, and just a great guy to have around, and I'm assuming a future coach. Will, if I could say his last name, Zadinak. Okay, well. I wish you guys showed this much enthusiasm through the year. I'm just kidding. MVP this year, this guy is a sophomore. This guy has the sweetest left-handed swing you want to see. I don't have numbers up here. I don't have to give numbers. He's leading the league in hitting, and I think has a good chance to end up there. He's been a leader of the team this year. Sometimes, we have a young team, and leaders got to come to the top on their own. And this guy, I got to give him credit. He's the best player in the team, and he's accepted that role and really tried to go with it. And that's tough, especially with a young team, a real young team. So this year's most valuable player goes to Jim Schomburg. Okay, Jimmy. Congratulations. Thanks, Coach. You have the other one. Okay. All right. Hey, I'll also, if you guys are hungry, we have peanut butter and jelly in the back afterwards.
We also have 3 participation awards for baseball. 3 years, Mike Marley, Jared Daly, and Curtis Kreis. And, as Coach Piatti mentioned, this is his last season coaching baseball, and assistant coach R.J. Bernard and some of the guys wanted to come up, have a little presentation here. So I'd like to call R.J. Bernard and some of the baseball guys up.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I told these guys not to do anything. Okay, so this isn't necessary. Huh. You guys are killing me.
Override this. Someone override this. Come up here.
Hello. I've had the privilege of playing under Joe for the past, for 4 years in the past, and coaching alongside with him for the last 2 years. Joe has been the face of this program for the past 20 years. He has accomplished many things. He has won conference championships. He has won Coach of the Year. He's made a trip to the NCAA tournament, and he has also won an ECAC South region. So as you can see, throughout his 20 years, he has accomplished many, many things here at Altoona. I personally would like to thank Coach Piatti myself. As I said, I played 4 years under him, and he's a great guy. These past 2 years have been special. Like I said, I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me. He gave me the opportunity to come aboard 2 years ago to help him coach here, knowing that someday I would like to take over a college baseball program myself. So he's really helped me mature as both a man and a coach these last 2 years. And like I said, I can't say enough about that for the opportunity that he's given me. Some of the guys on the team, along with some of their parents, have put together a few things that they'd like to present Joe with. It's just a departing gift for him. So at this time, Joe, these things are for you right here.
Let's have one more round of applause for Joey P. Our next award to present this evening is the Jim Ellis Leadership Award. The Ellis Award is given in memory of former men's basketball assistant coach Jim Ellis, who displayed great leadership throughout his time on campus and left a lasting impression on everyone who was fortunate to spend time with him. The recipient of this award must have demonstrated the values of leadership, caring, civility, honesty, integrity, and responsibility. The winner of this year's Jim Ellis Leadership Award is Quinn Lohr. Quinn's been a member of the men's basketball program for the past 3 years. On the court, he's been a leader by example through hard work, dedication, and a commitment to make himself and his teammates better. Off the court, Quinn has been involved in many activities to benefit the Penn State Altoona community and beyond. He's been a campus orientation leader and has participated in the Campus Activities Board. He also represents his peers on SAC. Additionally, he donated his time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Fallen Tuna, the Special Olympics, and Canning for Altoona benefiting Thon. He's also a member of Tau Alpha Pi and Chi Alpha Sigma National Honor Societies. Please join us in giving a round of applause for the 2016 Jim Ellis Leadership Award winner, Quinn Lohr. The final awards to be handed out tonight are for the Women's and Men's Scholar Athletes of the Year. These awards are given to a female athlete and a male athlete who have demonstrated excellence both on the playing field and in the classroom. To present these awards, I'd like to welcome to the stage our Faculty Athletics Representative, Dr. Victor Brunsden. Or Doc.
Thank you. I guess I am now to be known as Doc. Thank you, Greg. So they say they save the best for last, which I think we've done with the awards, only you get me, which is too bad. So we have two awardees. The first one, our men's awardee is Zach Graham. Zach has been the model of a well-rounded student athlete during his time at Penn State Altoona. On the volleyball court, he has been the consummate teammate, playing at a variety of different positions for the betterment of the team. Zach is the Lions' all-time leader in solo blocks, block assists, and total blocks, and this year he helped his team to its best ever record and first ever postseason berth. He has also displayed his versatility in the classroom and the community as well. He is a psychology major and has been selected to the Dean's List for 4 semesters and has been picked to the AMCC Academic All-Conference team. He is also a member of the International Honor Society of Psychology, the National Student Athlete Honor Society, and he has most recently been named Penn State Altoona's Scholar Athlete of the Year, of course. Zach has also spent time volunteering with the Special Olympics and tutoring struggling students on campus. Zach holds a 3.7 GPA, and after graduating with a degree in psychology, he'll be attending Arizona State University after having been accepted there into their Doctorate of Psychology program. Congratulations, Zach. And last but by no means least, not by a long shot, our Women's Scholar Athlete of the Year goes to Michaela Pierce. Come on down yet again, Michaela. Michaela has turned in consistently strong performances in her pursuits at Penn State Altoona, be it on the cross-country path or in the classroom. She is a three-time AMCC All-Conference cross-country runner, finishing among the top 15 women's runners in the conference championship race in each of her 3 years. She holds the women's cross-country team record for fastest 5K time and also has the 4th fastest 6K time. In the classroom, Michaela has turned in an equally impressive performance. After 5 semesters, she holds a 3.99 GPA as an elementary education major. She was one of the first students, what happened to that .01 there? To receive the Fredina Ingold Award for Academic Excellence in 2014 for achieving a perfect 4.0 GPA while in season, an accomplishment that she then proceeded to repeat the next year in 2015. Through hard work and commitment, Michaela has shown herself to be the embodiment of an NCAA Division III student athlete, excelling in the realm of athletics and in her studies. Congratulations, Michaela.
In closing, I would just like to thank all of you for being here. If you think about it, this is the one time a year we come together as an entire athletic department and we get to celebrate our successes, say goodbye to a few people, and look ahead to the future. Thank you. Now go study.
Nice. Thanks, Brent.